Hi Lee, congratulations on 2 big wins recently. How much has the international break helped, and how much the change in tactics possible?
I think the international break came at a good time for everybody. The boys work extremely hard day in, day out, plus the games. And I talk to people like Darren Way, who's one of my best pals at Yeovil, and you don't get that in the lower leagues, and it can be, although the Championship is relentless, I think League 2 and 1 is sometimes harder because you don't get those international breaks. And I think the tweak in formation hasn't changed the way we play or the philosophy in which we play too, and I think that's again credit to the players and how they've adapted, and I've enjoyed watching them, and I think we've been committed in our defending and dangerous in our counter-attacking and our build-up play.
I think this is right, but I believe Bristol City are now mathematically safe in the division, but I'm sure you've got your eyes on higher prizes than that, obviously.
Yeah, well, that is, of course, the first port of call. Do you know what I mean? If you look at the start of the Championship season, I don't know what our odds were, but I think after selling the 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 that we did, I think we was one of the favourites for relegation. So when you look at the start of a Championship campaign, you can genuinely look at probably 18 clubs and say they've got a chance of getting promoted. And that was no different this season. So for us to be up there competing and challenging, not just on a season-long basis, but on a game-by-game basis, I think is credit really to everybody at the football club.
Just going back to the 3 at the back, is that something we could see continued this weekend against Wigan, or do you think that's maybe suited more to these away games?
Yeah, I think the nice thing is that we can be flexible. Like at times you need to match teams up. So for me, it's not about, generally the shape change is a defensive change. So it doesn't mean that your attacking style of play changes really. It just means that you've got sort of round pegs in round holes in when you're sat in your defensive shape. So because we work a lot on the philosophy in terms of the playing style and the way we build and the way we get out, and we have really detailed rules on how we defend as a group, the actual formation doesn't actually change a lot, apart from give the individual clarity of their particular job role against certain teams, hence the change against Sheffield United. But like you see, it didn't affect our attacking play at all. The only game I've been disappointed this season with a shape change was either my fault or the players didn't really apply it very well was the Preston game. And apart from that, I think they've been excellent in the way they can adapt and roll out. So we've got a good squad in terms of, like, we can field an experienced team. You know, we've got nice attributes in different areas of the pitch, and like we've got a bit of belief at the moment. So we've got to continue down that path and more of the same.
Do you, sort of taking what you said on board there, would you agree with sort of some of the fans saying that it looks occasionally like some of the players suit this kind of 3 at the back, the way sort of maybe Bailey Wright is involved, Thomas Callas, because obviously Callas played a right back for a bit, didn't he, up at Middlesbrough, and just having that 3 there maybe suits them at times, or do you?
Yeah, I think I honestly think sometimes it's game by game scenario, because obviously the depths of detail that we go into. Your starting point is can you keep a consistent core, if you like, and spine, and if the players are flexible enough in their attributes, but also their tactical nous, then, like I say, you should be able to play any formation really. You've got to look at Man City, for example, that have like nigh on the best players in the world. They're so fluid in the way they attack, but also they can defend in various shapes. So, like I say, a lot of that is to make sure that against the opposition you're snuffing out potential threats and allowing your own players to go and play. But I've always been fine with changing formation as long as you've got the armour, and you know what I mean, the club's in the bag, if you like, and at the moment we have, which is nice. I think probably the bench we had on Tuesday night is a really good sign of our strength at the moment, because it's one of the strongest benches I've put out in my time here, for sure.
9 clean sheets on the road, the most in the division now. Is that the thing that most impressed you, maybe about Middlesbrough, keep shutting out?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we can't deny they had some 2 or 3 good opportunities to score, as did we. We look back at the analysis like we do all the time, and we've got to correct a couple of situations. But the key thing is that the players are defending the goal with their lives, have been very, very brave, putting their bodies on the line, blocks, tackles, aggression. And that goes a long way at this stage of the season, because it is about heart and commitment, and sometimes by the width of a post or a lick of paint can determine whether you win or lose a game.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how much Bailey Wright knew about that one from Johnny Howson. Was that luck? Was that
no, I think, listen, Bailey's like the person you'd want to block the goal, you know what I mean, at any point. He's not going to turn his back, he's not going to be scared of taking a hit for the team, if you like, and so he's in there for a reason, and he's there to defend, and he defended. I thought he was fantastic in the last game, and he was a standout for me, not just for his ability to defend, but for his organisation, his ability on the ball.
How are the guys doing for the weekend? How's Corey doing, and Andy Vyman, obviously both went off injured, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, Andy, to start with, we're hopeful of having news on that today. Obviously, the X-ray, sometimes you have to let it settle down with the swelling and stuff like that for the X-ray to take effect. So we'll have news on that one, like probably late afternoon, early evening. And then Corey Smith felt a twinge to the injury that he obviously had before, which again is quite, you know what I mean, that's not unusual to feel a twinge like that, anybody that's had a medial ligament, and it was just safer really to take him off. I wanted to put another big guy on anyway because of the changes that they had made, and therefore it was safer to keep him out of it and deal with the attacking threat and height that Middlesbrough had.
What's the problem with Andy? Is it his ankle, or is it possibly
foot? Top of the foot, yeah. He was stamped on by our friend Flinty. Not on purpose, I must add, but accidental. So he received quite a nasty stamp as he tried to take Flinty on.
Just then on this game for the weekend, do you think you might name a goalkeeper on the bench this time around, or is that a game by game thing, or is it?
Yeah, I think it's a game by game thing. That, do you know what I mean? It's a catch-22 really. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But I spoke to Kenny Dalglish a number of times, and he tells me that Liverpool went for a whole season once with only using 13 players. So I think that, do you know what I mean, throughout history, if you look at the history, often, what is there, probably a 4 or 5% chance in any one game, probably less. Well, I'm sure it's less than a goalkeeper coming on, probably less than 1%. So, the thing is, we've got some players that are not bad in goal as well, because we have actually, if we're going to make that decision, and I won't tell you who, but if we're going to make that decision not to put a goalkeeper on, you need to know that somebody's decent, and we've got a couple in there that actually started their careers as kids in goal. So that'll be an interesting little research project for you.
Just on Mo Isa and Hakib Adelican, obviously I saw those guys playing in the under-23s the other week. Is there any chance those guys might be involved between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, there's a chance, of course there is. Like I said to the boys today, I said well done for a number of reasons, and one of my big well dones was to the players that that didn't travel in the squad. You don't want to disrespect them by taking them with no intention of putting them on the bench. Obviously they need the games because they need to be ready for when they do come in, and they showed a fantastic attitude. Even if I haven't been able to take the session due to travelling, or we've had a game, or they played 23s and I haven't made the game because of that reason, the reports back in terms of attitude has been excellent. We know they're good players. Again, not a lot of clubs will have the luxury of players like that not involved in the squad, so more strength really to our elbow.
Absolutely. And just finally, obviously the game in Wigan was pretty close, wasn't it? And you're expecting a similar match against Paul Cook's men this weekend? Yeah,
I think they're good. I like them. I think they've got good players. I think they work hard. They get back behind the ball. I think we didn't perform at our maximum at Wigan, and I think that's a classic example of if you don't in the Championship perform, you get beat fair and square, and we did get beat fair and square. Had a couple of chances to equalise, but no doubt the players and myself were disappointed with that performance. Now, does it have any bearing on the result? Well, we try and learn our lessons, but it shouldn't. You know, it's a new day, a new game, and both teams are in different positions in the league and fighting for different reasons. So, full respect to Wigan and the work that Paul Cook has done there, and obviously I've managed against him now a few times and played against his teams, and I know how masterful they are, if you like, within that sort of 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 shape.
Very quickly from me, Lee, people have talked about the form of Andy Vyman this week, Adam Webster this week. I just wanted your take on the form of Famara Jiju, somebody who's not really been in the headlines but has done a superb, put in a good shift this week. Yeah,
exactly, and I think like in terms of the work rate, sort of the hold-up play, the influence he has on creating room for everybody else has been exceptional over these last sort of few weeks, and rightly so, because he needs to be at it. You know what I mean? And when he is, he is a real. We talk to the opposition managers, opposition players a lot, and one of the first comments normally is, "Wow, Jeju, what a handful he is," and it's up to Jeju not to disappoint in the way he plays. You know what I mean? Because he always wants goals, and he comes off the pitch frustrated if he hasn't scored goals, but he shouldn't, because if his team performance is good, which it has been, then obviously he stays in the team, and by staying in the team you give yourself a good chance of scoring goals.
And I guess his strength and his physicality is going to be very important on Saturday, because I guess that's kind of how Wigan play. They're a very physical team, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a strong side, full of strong individuals, but I think we've shown in the last two games that we can mix it, you know, both aerially and in the box, and we can play our game as well. And I'm looking forward to the game. It's nice to come back home. It feels like an age since we played at home, obviously due to the international break, and we're really keen to put in a winning performance, if you like, for the fans. And it is going to be a team effort now in these last set of games, and there'll be bumps in the road, of course there will, but we've got to be consistent in that belief, and that starts obviously on the pitch, but of course in the terraces they have their part to play, and we know that this club, when it's up and positive, and it can be so powerful, and I think the boys have put in a massive stint in the last two games and deserve like a huge roar, if you like, coming back to the Ashton Gate faithful.
Best of luck on Saturday.
Okay, thank you.